Our weather was much calmer for the second half of your Sunday, but heading into Monday, we could be seeing some dense fog roll into the area, and you can see some of it right here on our Salem weather camera. Thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm John Adams. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is joining us now. And Joe, this thick fog is stretching throughout a good portion of the west side of the state right now.
Absolutely right. And case in point is that weather camera from Salem, where we were talking earlier tonight. You could see it, the capital clear as day, and now those low clouds are really starting to thicken up, especially in the central and southern part of the Willamette Valley. So, John, we are going to be issuing a weather impact alert tonight and into tomorrow. Good portion of your morning commute because of that fog, and it will be dense in a few locations. And again, it's until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Here in the metro area, it'll be dense fog, but the closer you get into Eugene, Corvallis area, temperatures will be right at that freezing mark. So there could be a chance we look at some freezing fog in that part of the valley. But again, make sure you give yourself extra time because we do start to experience some of the freezing fog. Those ice crystals could kind of develop on the road and make some slick conditions. As we look at the watches and warnings, that gray color is the dense fog advisory that's in effect until tomorrow morning at 9. And again, right now throughout Scappoose, Portland, Troutdale, you're not going to have any issues traveling or seeing any visibility. But the closer you get into parts of Hillsborough, that fog is really starting to thicken up. Down in Eugene, it's down to a quarter of a mile in visibility. It's just going to get worse over the next several hours as we head into the morning hours. Right now, downtown Portland, a temperature of 45 degrees, and we are going to be seeing another stretch of dry weather. I'll talk more about when you can expect to see some changes. That's coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. Well, new tonight out of Eugene, a 13-year-old is dead and 4 other teens are in the hospital after a 2-vehicle crash. It happened just before 4 Saturday afternoon at the intersection of River Road and Beacon Drive. There are few details at this point, but Eugene police said the crash involved a sedan with the 5 teens and an SUV with a single driver. The 13-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. The SUV driver stayed on scene and spoke with police. We're tracking the ongoing search for the suspect behind an armed robbery. It happened just before 10 last night when Multnomah County deputies were called to the Stark Street Walgreens in Troutdale. The sheriff's office said the suspect is a Hispanic male in his 30s, and he left the store with an unknown amount of money and has not been located. The investigation continues. And in the metro, 1 person is recovering after they were shot in the knee by an unknown suspect. Gresham officers were called sometime around 2 this morning to a shooting near East Burnside and Southeast 197th Avenue. Officers arrived to find a large gathering and also heard gunshots as they arrived on scene. Witnesses described the suspect, but Portland police said they don't have any more information to go on at this time.
I feel like he's already in space, just running around, doing his thing, jumping from realm to realm.
A Vancouver family is honoring their 23-year-old son who passed away this year by sending some of his remains to outer space. Our Celine Stevens spoke with the family today to learn more about this unique and touching tribute.
It's kind of almost more for us because it really gives us a sense of peace that his physical being is somewhere where he probably would love to be.
Josh Jensen loved science, space, sci-fi, and animals. He was 23 years old when he passed away this summer after living with muscular dystrophy his whole life.
Last July, he got COVID. His body just couldn't deal with it anymore. His heart just ended up giving out.
His family wanted to honor him, and while at the funeral home, learned about Celestis Memorial space flights.
We were like just all looking at each other in the room. We were like, yeah. And it's almost like I felt Josh say, yeah, Mom, that's it.
This isn't a new concept. It's a service that's been going on since the 90s, where you can send your loved one's cremated remains into space.
Josh's flight capsule will be attached to a satellite, and that satellite will be deployed into what's called low Earth orbit in about 3 years, give or take. The satellite will have to be decommissioned. Josh's flight capsule at that time will come into the atmosphere as a shooting star.
Josh's flight capsule will take off on a SpaceX Falcon 9 in April from Florida. Josh's mom, Heather Jensen, says with their youngest son also having muscular dystrophy, they unfortunately will not be able to see it launch in person, but will plan to live stream it. She says she feels like Josh is already in space, free to move as he pleases.
This for us, I think, is just a representation of him finally being free and his physical part going up to the sky.
Celestis President Colby Youngblood says being able to provide this form of closure to families is an honor.
To see the families, they're cheering, they're crying, they're hugging. It's an extremely emotional experience.
For Josh's family, it's a way to honor and remember him.
We love him and we miss him so much, and we know that he'll be here with us in spirit as he goes up in flight.
Now, as for the cost of an honor like this, prices vary by service, ranging from $3,500 to $13,000. Josh's family had a GoFundMe to help with the cost. Also, Celestis will help take the remains of an Astoria man, Jeffrey Nelson, who died in 2021, to space as well, slated for June of next year. Celine Stevens, KGW News.
We have some new information tonight on a fire in a parking garage that burned 2 cars last night in southwest Portland. Portland Fire and Rescue said there was a debris fire that was ignited between the cars, but it's still unclear how that fire started. Anyone with information is asked to call the Fire and Rescue hotline. You can find that number right there on your screen. And new tonight, one person was treated for smoke inhalation after a mobile home went up in flames. It happened last night in Aurora on Piper Street Northeast off of the Hubbard Cutoff Road. No one was hurt, and there are no details on what started the fire. It was an eye-catching scene in the waters near Seattle. A 40-foot vessel on fire off the shores of Alki Beach around noon today. Witnesses say the boat went up in flames quickly, with firefighters facing difficult circumstances to put it out.
They weren't able to get the whole fire extinguished, and there was some concern about the amount of water that was going onto the vessel. So then they brought in some pumps to help de-water the vessel so it wouldn't sink.
A man on board the boat jumped into the water to escape. He declined medical treatment. The cause of the fire is still being investigated. There is a debate brewing in northern Washington to possibly lower the threshold for when cold weather shelters can open. Right now, cold weather shelters in Whatcom County open when temperatures hit the freezing degree mark at 32 degrees. There's a petition to open shelters when the temperatures outside hit 40 degrees to help the unhoused population. Some leaders there say the change would triple the cost of providing these services.
Every dollar we spend on shelter is a dollar we're not spending on building a tiny home village or recovery housing for folks exiting the jail or treatment services.
Supporters of the petition say money could be saved by partnering with nonprofit organizations. Here in Multnomah County, severe weather shelters typically open when overnight temperatures are forecast at 25 degrees or when there's heavy snow or rain. A beloved Portland radio station now has a new home. Thanks to the support of listeners, Portland's all classical radio has moved into a new space in downtown Portland, meant to connect the past and the future of classical music. Take a look.
For over 4 decades, fans of Beethoven, Mozart, and other timeless composers have been tuning in to KQAC, Portland's all-classical radio. Now, in an effort to further connect with the community, the independent station has moved to a new studio off of Southwest Columbia in downtown Portland.
Today is our grand opening celebration. We've thrown our doors open to the public, and we're celebrating this journey of moving into a new home, our new media art center.
The 15,000 square foot space features 5 state-of-the-art production studios and a 100-seat performance venue.
And this is a hall where we will have live performances. We'll do film documentary screenings, poetry slams, theater in the round. We built it for all purpose so that people could come in here, experience art, share things together, learn together.
The station started raising money for its new home in 2023. Listeners and supporters gave over $9 million to make the move possible.
The generosity of those individual contributors is just overwhelming. I get chills every time I think about it.
The new space also features a recording studio and dedicated spaces for young musicians like Elena Stupler.
Coming to Portland and discovering all classical radio really developed a sense of community for me.
And who knows, maybe the next great classical musician will get their start right here in Portland.
It's just so incredible how this station really supports both the future of music but also the present of music in their exquisite programming and their thoughtfulness.